What is going on, gentlemen? In today's podcast, we are going to dive into a very special training. In fact, this was the training that I had to go through to step off and be the man I want to be. And what I mean by that is I needed the vision, I needed the purpose, I needed the knowing of where I was going. This is such an important lesson. In fact, there is a lot of research behind this. I know Jordan Peterson has done a lot of research. If you don't have a clear vision in mind, then you don't know where you're going. You're just drifting without a purpose. For you to have a clear purpose, a clear direction, a clear knowing of this is the direction I'm going, your psyche can then create order around that. You can take action. And it is in the action that you actually start to create and emancipate yourself from the feelings of pressure, the feelings of overwhelm, and you create the sense of freedom. You create the sense of trust. You create the sense of confidence in yourself simply by identifying where you want to go. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't necessarily know what they want. And I know that sounds kind of funny. You kind of have an idea of what you want and all these things. And I've done so many lessons with this regard. I've read all the books, just all of them, if there is a number to that. I've read and studied this, and I've done so much work around it, but it was this one simple thing that I did, and that's what I'm going to share with you in today's lesson in our second of 7 series of Becoming an Unbreakable Man. Now, this is, again, the beginning of Becoming an Unbreakable Man course. It is part of the Brotherhood. When you sign up for the Brotherhood, this is the course you get. It's a 6-week course that walks you through all of the insights of understanding who you are, understanding energy cultivation, understanding unlocking your masculine power, understanding of doing the deep work, and ultimately leadership so that you can be the man you want to be. Again, if there is one thing I want you to walk away with from your interaction with me, whether it's through the podcast, if you join our Brotherhood, if you come to our live event, is literally just, I want you to be the motherfucker that you are deep down, that you express yourself as who you are, not who you think you need to be in order to get the sex you want, in order to get the money you want, but just be you. And that is so difficult for so many people and so many men specifically. And I love working with men because I understand the psyche of men. I understand what it means to be a man in today's day and age. And I understand the pressures that we hold to be and uphold certain things. And so it's more than just making a paycheck and mowing the lawn. It's really deep, and there is truth behind that. And so I hope you get an incredible amount of value out of this. There is going to be, and I will tell you this, it's in the works as of right now. There is going to be also an online interactive component to this. So you can go to our website. When I get the link, I will post it in the description for you guys. But you can literally kind of walk through this program or this training specifically, because I feel like this is one of the most important elements to your journey as a man. Again, if you remember from our first concept, you got to do the work. You got to cultivate the energy, and that's challenging yourself. And so in today's lesson, you're going to learn how to identify and create a very clear vision for yourself so you know where you're going, and ultimately you can be the man you want to be. Enjoy today's episode. And as always, if you do feel called to go deep and dive into yourself and get the work done, we have a 90-day coaching program, which is part of the Brotherhood. If you sign up for the actual in-person immersive experience, the Unbreakable Man experience, which, by the way, it'll change your life. I'll just tell you that right now. Every guy that's gone through and then has truly finished, because again, it's very challenging. Every guy that's gone through it has changed their life, and they are able to show up as the man they want to be. If you sign up for that, you also get the online course with that as well. So just keep that in mind. I'm really looking forward to meeting with you guys. And as always, enjoy the episode. What is up, beautiful humans? This is Dr. Dave Cahotis. I am on a mission to forge strong, heart-centered, and purpose-driven men. And this podcast is here to help you stop managing your problems and start breaking free of stress, limiting beliefs, and excuses that stop you from executing at your fullest potential, living with passion, and being the man you want to be. Let's go. If you aren't able to get real, there's nothing that I can do for you. What I mean by that is, if you aren't able to stop and recognize that where you are in your life is not where you want to be, if you can't do that for yourself, then you're just going to keep lying to yourself. You're just going to keep cheating yourself. You're just going to keep numbing. You're just going to keep running. And nothing you do will matter. You have to stop and you have to get real. And so in this lesson, in this podcast, we're going to get deep. We're going to get real. If you are listening to this, whether you're listening to this on the podcast or in the online course, this is a lesson I want everybody to know. And so over the series of a few of these courses, I want everybody to know, if you're in the online course, there's going to be a lot deeper work that goes along with it. But I just want you to realize, if you want to be the man you want to be, you have to get fucking real. Like seriously real with yourself. You got to start announcing to yourself the truth. If you're in love with another woman and it's not your wife, you need to fucking own that. If you are in a job that you hate and you want to go be an actor, you have to own that. If you have been running from the fact that you are gay, I don't care what it is, you have to own it. You have to own your truth. I don't care what it is, but you must own it. If you cannot own it, then there's nothing I can do for you. Period. End of story. Now, why is this so fucking hard? Because we recognize that when we own our shit, we have to reckon with all of the bullshit stories we've been telling ourselves. All the shame and all the guilt and all the pain that we've been hiding from. It's been hiding in the background. We put it into a closet. We thought, oh, I'm never going to see that again. No, I don't want to look at that. Well, I really want to do this over here. I really want to go in this direction, but no. That's not for me. I'm just going to pretend. I'm just going to allow society to make me docile. I'll just go over here. I'm going to watch this porn. I'm going to beat off. Right? But in reality, are you actually living your truest essence? Are you expressing your authentic self? And the answer is no. And you know it. And so why is this so difficult? This is a really tough one, and I want to be, really honest and very frank with you, because this is the moment in which you will announce to yourself something that you've been running from. Now, of course, when you do that, you open up the door. And what's the door to? It's the door to your shadow. It's the door to the dark places in your psyche, the parts of you that you've been running from. And you got to start working with that and dealing with it and processing it. And I will teach you how to do that. Whether you're following this online, through our podcast or actually in the course, you will be guided. I will teach you how to process the energy. But just know that if you want to be the man you want to be, you have to know how. You have to first announce to yourself, oh shit, I really want to be a circus clown, right? It's kind of funny. Sometimes I think that. Maybe you want to run off with your secretary, right? Maybe you really want that. Now, maybe it's not the best choice for you, but maybe you really want it, and you got to announce that to yourself, right? You have the free will decision of how you experience your own life, and how you're experiencing your life is what's actually happening inside of you. It's not the outside world. That's just a reflection of you, of what's actually happening on the inside. You'll hear this before you, as within, so without, as without, so within. The world is a mirror for you. If I started swearing at you in another language and calling you all kinds of names, you'd just laugh. You'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. When I say that, it's not the words, it's the meaning that you carry. It's the meaning you put to the experience. Now, if you can step outside of it and allow yourself to get truth, tell the truth, get honest, and say, okay, then you can actually take the meaning away. And the meaning means I'm bad. I'm a bad boy. No, you're not. You're not a bad boy. You're moving from boyhood psychology, this part of you that says, oh, I need approval from my mother or my father. I need approval from my wife. I need approval from my business partner. I need approval. You don't need approval from fucking anybody. You are a man. You are a king. You are calling that part of you back into you, this leader within. You want to be a commander, you want to be the man you want to be, you have to be a commander. And so you need to start to get honest. Tell the truth with yourself. And when you do, that is when everything starts to come online. Now, again, you're going to have to start seeing some shit, feeling some things that you, frankly, you're not happy with. You're not satisfied with. But you got to feel it. That's the first part. You got to tell the truth, and then you got to feel it. And we're going to work through that process, that deep work process, in another lesson. But for right now, we're just going to tell the truth. Okay. So this is where we're going to tell the truth. We're going to take, I call it the 6 accounts of life. And these are accounts because they are, for all intents and purposes, accounts that have balances, checks and balances. You'll know when you're running low in any one of these accounts. You'll just know. And you'll be like, you won't say it out loud, and you won't be managing it correctly because you didn't realize that you're actually running this like an account, but you're an account manager. And these are the accounts that we all want. We all want these 6 things that I'm about to describe to you. But if you don't stop and recognize, oh man, I need to stop and like look at this and tell the truth. Like if you know your finances are an account, right? It's like very clear. It's very trackable, very objective. Okay, I'm at X number of dollars in my cash. I'm at profit and loss like this. I'm at, my balance sheet like this. I'm at, statement of cash like this. Like, where you're at if you can read your numbers. That's if you're reading your numbers, of course, right? I'll raise my hand and say, I could do better in that area. But this is not self-reflection for me. This is for you. Okay, so let's dive into those 6 accounts. What I want you to do while we're doing this process, while we're going through this, is you can go through the online type form as well. So there is an online form that you can click in the description, find it, and then you can go through it in that realm so that you actually have easy access to this. Or you can just write down on a piece of paper these 6 accounts. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions. We're going to go through all 6 first, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions afterwards for you to start thinking about. And what I want you to do first is really think about these 6 accounts. So if you're writing down on a piece of paper, take out a piece of paper and write down these 6 words. Now give yourself some space between each one so that you can obviously answer the questions. So the first one is health. So these are the 6 accounts. The first one is health, vitality, your sense of well-being, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, in your mind, body, and soul. What is your well-being? Number 2 is your intimate relationships. What are your intimate relationships like? Right? Again, that's your partner, or if you are polyamorous, your multiple partnerships. Number 3 is social health, social well-being. And this is your connection to also your family. When I say social, I mean like your intimate relationship, because it holds some weight. It's a different account. This is different than even your family. So your social relationship, social health, social well-being. What does that look like, right? That includes your family, your immediate family, maybe if you have some kids, your colleagues, your friends, etc. Social health, social well-being. Number 4 is your sense of play and joy. Your sense of play and joy. This is your soul. This is something that lights you up, something that you love, right? Your sense of play, your sense of joy, whatever that thing is. Okay? We're going to get fucking honest with ourselves. That's always a hard one. Number 5 is finances, financial. So of course, such an easy one to track, right? We oftentimes know that we I got to track that one. And there's ways to track these things, and we'll talk about that later. But just know that, okay, you need to track it. So finances. And the last one is your sense of service, and not just work, right? So if you got a job, great, got a job. But what is your sense of service? Your impact and fulfillment in that work. Got to get real with ourselves. We're not just here to just go out there and live in a dead-end job and live this quiet life of desperation. We are here to do something of impact. We all are called to service. We are, all of us. But we can't serve at our highest form if we are not expressing our authentic self. And really where we want to serve our greatest light is in our authentic self. That's why it took me so many years to even get to this point to be able to serve, because I had to go through my own work, my own deep work, to show up fully for you so that I could serve, because I was fractured psychologically. And so I had to become what I call the unbreakable man. So what I want you to do is we're going to go through each one. And if you're listening, if you're driving, you can do this later. You can go through it right now, kind of in your head. You kind of know it. But if you're at a table with your piece of paper in your journal, or if you're even online, by all means use it. You're going to go through one by one. So now, this is what I want you to do. Again, if you're driving, don't follow along this part. But if you're just on your own, sitting at your desk, then do this, okay? Take a big breath in, close your eyes. Big breath in, full exhale. Just soften, just let yourself soften. Big breath in, and full exhale. Just soften, just be here, just be here. Just allow yourself, just give yourself the courage to tell the truth right now. You can say it out loud. I give myself the courage to tell myself the truth, the honest truth. And what I want you to do, starting with your health, your sense of vitality, your mind, your body, and your soul. Imagine like you are looking at your life as an account manager, and you see this. And on a scale of 1 being the worst it could possibly be, and 10 being the absolute most outstanding it could possibly be, I want you to rate where you currently are at in your well-being, in your mind, body, and soul, objectively. Is it a 3? Is it a 5? Is it a 6? Just tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth. What's the first number that comes to mind? Currently in my health, in my mind, body, and spirit, I am at a blank. Okay. Let's write that down or circle that number, whatever that is. Now, moving along, going into your relationships, I want you to think about as your eyes are closed. Taking a breath, giving yourself the courage to tell yourself the truth. In my relationship, I am currently at a blank. What number, objectively, are you currently at? A scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most outstanding, intimate, connected, loving, free-flowing, amazing, absolutely incredible relationship you can think of. 1 being like, I don't even know why I'm still here. Where are you at? Tell yourself the truth, the absolute truth. Moving along into social health, social well-being. And you can think about your kids and your colleagues and your friends and all these things. Where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? Scale of 1 to 10. Keep your eyes closed. If you want, just go within. Just be inside of you. Don't worry about being outside. Don't even worry about watching the video if you're watching it. If you're listening, it's a lot easier. Just be here. Scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Now moving along into your sense of your soul expression, play and joy, the things that light you on fucking fire. And it could be something vocational. It could be, maybe as an example, I love to speak publicly. I love to get on stage. I love to teach. That's part of my play and joy. Doesn't have to be going to the Maldives, although that's fun. Where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10 in your sense, your connection to your soul expression? This is yours, no one else's. Where are you at? Scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Moving along. Finances. Big breath on this one. Full exhale. I can already feel you get nervous. A lot of guys get nervous on this one. You got to tell yourself the truth. Where are you at? Scale of 1 to 10 in your finances, in your financial well-being. It's not just cash in the bank. Could be management, could be assets. What does that look like? Scale of 1 to 10. Your level of satisfaction, objectively. And finally, your sense of service. How much impact have you created? How much fulfillment do you have in your sense of service in this world, in this life? Are you serving your greatest light? Are you serving in the way you were meant to serve? Ask yourself that, truly, honestly. Are you serving? Give yourself this space, this time to answer objectively. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is you can open your eyes and I want you to look at each one. And you're going to go through this one by one. You'll do this on your own, but you're going to go through each one. And I want you to write down, if you were at a 5, right? What would objectively have to be true in order for you to get to a 6? Now, so again, this is both subjective and objective. You've taken a subjective status, right? Your sense of satisfaction in your health. Let's just use health as an example. And you're at a 5. I'm just using an example as 5. Okay, I'm at a 5. All right, what would objectively have to be true for me to be at a 6? Because something is outside of me that I feel like must be true in order for me to achieve something, right? There's something here by design, and I will explain the psychology later, but just know that, like, write down what would have to be true for you to get to a 6. Okay, let's say you want to have more strength. Okay, how much more strength? You want to be able to lift 225 pounds off the bench press? Great. You want to be able to do 20 pull-ups? Awesome. Write down what that looks like. Maybe functional flow. Maybe you have some pain right now that you want to get rid of. So that's where your focus point becomes. What we're doing is that we're allowing the psyche to focus. Subconscious mind comes online. It gives instant answers. You're not satisfied in your life. You know it. And now you're creating clarity. You have to have clarity. If you want to be the man you want to be, you have to know what that fucking looks like. But in order to know what that looks like, you got to tell the absolute truth. If you didn't tell the absolute truth, stop, go back, and redo this. You have to tell the absolute truth to yourself. This is really, really, really important. If you don't tell the absolute truth to yourself first, then there's nothing I can do for you. You're just bullshitting yourself. So go back, make sure you tell the absolute truth. So now again, maybe you were at truly a 3, right? Ah, shit, I'm carrying an extra 50 pounds. I overeat. I hate myself, all these things, right? That's all part of it, okay? So what I want you to do is write down what would objectively have to be true. If you're at a 5, right, what would have to be true for it to be at a 6? Okay, I want to be have more strength, as an example. Now, what would have to be true to be at a 7? Okay, well, I have more strength. Maybe I want to be able to run 3 miles. Okay, so you write that down. What would objectively have to be true to be at an 8? Okay, write that down. What would objectively have to be true to be at a 9? You start noticing that you're going to give yourself steps. We're going to get to the 10, but you got to go through the steps. A lot of times guys are trying to hit the home run in life. They're trying to get rich. They're trying to win the lottery. They're trying to find the most amazing wife. They're trying to land themselves into the perfect job. But in reality, all you want is just the next step. The secret of happiness is pursuit. There is literal neuro and biochemical that is released for you when you are pursuing something that is tangible. Literal dopamine hits. Again, we already talked about it in a different lesson. We're stripping away all the dopamine that we've been consuming. Now we are objectively going after the intrinsic dopamine. We are the pharmacy that we want. We don't need drugs and alcohol. We don't. If you want to live an incredible life, you want pursuit. And so in order for you to be the man you want to be, you have to objectively know where you are and know where you want to go. It's that simple, but you got to do it. You got to do this exercise. Okay. So when you get to a 10 out of 10, I want you to write that down, like 10 out of 10. Okay, I got this. Now again, like add on to it. If it's, certain level of strength, that we're just talking about health. If it's a certain level of strength, amazing, do that. And then you can write down, okay, like maybe it's an additional level of strength, or you want to be able to hike Machu Picchu or Kilimanjaro or whatever that might be. Be objective, because then that gives you clarity into the direction. It puts order into your psyche. It starts calling that king within, that archetype of leadership, of commandership, the part of you that brings order into your world. You got to know where you are in order to know where you want to go. That's what the first step in wayfinding is. Now, what I want you to do is go back to where you are. Go back to where you are, okay? You have an idea of like, yes, like, okay, I know what is possible, because it is possible, and it's really simple to get there. It really is. You know what's possible. You're feeling good. I want you to go back. I want you to go back to where you are. Maybe you're at a 3. If you're at a 3, amazing. It's great. It's just objective. This is it. I want you to write down all of the mindsets that you tell yourself, that you say, all of the statements that you tell yourself, all of the reasons that you can't have what you want. And maybe you feel like you can't have strength because you got a bum knee. Well, you don't actually have a bum knee. There is processes that you can use to get over knee pain. I've come from that background. I'm literally like, that is my background. You can get out of knee pain and you can be a strong individual. There are no excuses. You can be the man you want to be. You absolutely can be the man you want to be. So write down all of the mindsets that you tell yourself. I'm not worthy of this. I don't deserve this. I got a bum knee. I'm getting old. That might be one. In your finances, when you get there, you might notice that you start telling yourself that, oh, like money is evil. Money's not fucking evil. People who say that money's evil are evil because they want you to believe that it's evil. It's not. It's just a cycle of energy. It's like saying like the river is evil. Like, no, it's not. It's just a river. That's literally it. It's just movement of energy. So allow yourself to really dive deep into your psyche and recognize, okay, what am I telling myself about this? And you're going to start catching these statements. Just got to write them down. This is really important so that you can go in, when you go into the depth work, you can bring that stuff forward. So for now, I want you to know that this is vital information. If you want to be the man you want to be, want to live that life, right? That incredible life, got to know where you're going, but in order to know where you're going, got to know where you are. You got to tell the truth. Because there's something that you feel like is missing. And underneath the surface, it's like, oh man, I'm so unsatisfied in my relationships. I'm so unfulfilled in my connection to myself. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not going out there and having fun. I'm just going to work. I'm coming home. Like, rubble, right? So allow yourself to feel that. Feel what you need to feel. But that's, again, we'll learn how to process that in another lesson. Just for right now, write down all the mindsets, all the things you tell yourself, all the statements, because then you're going to use that. And then we'll be able to go on to the next lesson and go into the depth work. So again, quick summary on this. Go through each one, look at what it is, what's going on. You know what it is. You know where you are at objectively. Get absolutely fucking honest with yourself. Then look at the next step. What's the next step? Okay, if I'm at a 5, what's a 6? All right, now I got there. What would have to be objectively be true for me to be at a 6 in this area? Okay, what would objectively have to be true for me to be a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10? And once you get to the 10, then you're like, ooh, yeah, that's good. Now, when you're going through it, I will just say one more thing before I send you off. I want you to look at these mindsets. After you look at all the mindsets, all the patterns that you tell yourself, and even the patterns of action that you notice, like what do you physically do that stops you? Like you might notice that like in your relationship, you have an opportunity to seduce your wife, but you don't because you're secretly resenting her for not reaching out first, right? That's a pattern. And so what do you physically do, right? What do you physically do in that moment, right? Do you go beat off? You go jump on porn, right? That's an example. Like, I mean, I'm speaking truth because like these are things that I've worked through. We don't even see these patterns. These are unconscious patterns. We feel that we're like, oh, I want this, but I'm not getting this. So I'm resenting you. So fuck you. I'm going to go do that. But you're not helping her and you're not helping yourself. She wants you to seduce her. She does. She wants you to show up. She wants you to be present. She wants to feel safe and secure in your arms. She wants you to be steadfast, but you got to be able to be willing to do the work within to do that so you can get the results you want. So I want you to think about, again, all these mindsets and the actions you take to sabotage yourself, the mindset blocks, all that bullshit that you've been doing. How are you numbing all that stuff? And we'll go deeper into it in the next phase, but just know that there's some mindsets that are there. They're real. And I want you to think about, what is that costing you? Right? What is the mindset? What is the bullshit costing you? This is really important. I want you to really think about that. What is it costing you to think that money is evil? What is it costing you? Seriously. What is it costing you to hate on your wife, to feel resent? Maybe call her a bitch in your mind, but even though you show up and you're like, oh, I love you, baby. Right? But you're really pissed at her. What is that costing you? It's not even just costing her, it's costing you. What is it costing you? You got to get real. If you want to change your life, you got to get real. You need to stop acting and start directing your life. But in order to be a director, you got to tell the truth. And that's the first step. Okay. That's what I want you to do today. Next lesson and podcast, wherever you're listening on this, know that this is heavy. This is kind of heavy sometimes. Kind of heavy. So we're going to get into the process, the physical process of how to move energy in us. What is energy? It's just emotions. It's literally just sensations, neuro and biochemical in the body. It's sensations. What do we do with that? Why are emotions actually real? And why do we fucking run from them as men? I don't know. It's just a thing, but it's how we experience the world. So we'll talk about that in the next lesson. For now, I love you. Peace. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Unbreakable Man podcast. If you found this episode valuable, then go ahead and leave a 5-star review explaining how this podcast has helped you so more people can find it. If you want to be a part of the Brotherhood, then click the link in the description below. You can also check out the Unbreakable Man experience if you're ready to face a deeper challenge and change your life for the better in just 3 days. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening. I appreciate you. And as always, stay unbreakable.